What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Flake Garage. Today's episode we're going to be adding a set of LED headlights to Brian's Hardbody. So we got Brian here, and then he picked up the set from Amazon. They are sequential turn signals, daylight, running lights, and just a pretty nice set of LED headlights on it. He picked them up for about...
I picked them up for $80. They were originally $90. But if you catch them on sale, you'll save yourself about $7 to $8.
So we'll link to it at the bottom like always, and hopefully you guys can still catch that sale and get them for a little bit cheaper. But we're gonna lay out the headlights and everything that came with the package here on the table, and then we'll show you guys everything that comes with it, and hopefully you'll pick up set as well. So let's do it. Alright guys, so here we have the set of headlights out of the box already. As you can see, they came packaged very well. We have our sequential turn signals. You're going to have your low beam and high beam, and then also a set of DRLs, which is going to be your driving lights, just in case you want to hook them up. And then we also came with a nice set of instructions. We have some extra wiring, a couple different harnesses, just in case this kind of plug does not is factory with the Hardbody. They were nice enough to send you some extra harnesses for you to try, basically. So this is all that came in the package. It was really nicely packaged, very well. So then now we are basically ready to move on to the Hardbody, take the old headlights out, and start trying to adapt this ones into it. So let's do it. All right, guys. So we started taking the headlights out, and we had to take our grill off first. We kind of forgot to press record, so we don't have any footage of that. But right now, this connector is really messed up, and we're gonna have to probably replace it. Luckily, our headlights, that's what the little harness is for. So we're gonna end up using it and just making this a lot nicer, because I mean, look at that, it's just completely destroyed and was hauled in there by tape. So we don't want that. That one is giving us a little bit of issue. This bottom bolt is totally stripped, so we're probably gonna have to drill it out and then get the headlight out. Luckily, the other three were fine, so we're probably just gonna reuse those and then maybe leave it with 3 bolts or whatnot. So let's try to get that bolt out, and then we'll start splicing our harnesses into it. Let's do it. Alright guys, so here we have our original headlight, and then here we have our new headlight, and then this plug actually connects straight away into your factory plug. Hopefully you guys have this on both sides. Like I said, we're gonna have to use one of these ones for our passenger side, but on the driver side, we can plug it in there and it starts working right away as far as your high beam, your low beam. But obviously this turn signal and daylight driving lights are not gonna come on, so we have to splice into those. And then we're gonna show you here what we need to splice into. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to splice into this, and we're gonna use this kind of connectors just to have a cleaner kind of splice into the turn signals and the DRLs. We have everything ready over here. We decided we're gonna splice into this part just because if something decides to go wrong, I think it's gonna be easier to replace this as opposed to replace anything with the factory harness. We do know that if anything with this goes bad, we're gonna have to switch it out, but I think we're okay. A lot of these parts are newer, so they shouldn't have a problem, at least anytime soon, hopefully. So we're gonna splice into this. So our power connection for the DRLs is going to be this bottom cable, which kind of comes up and then it turns out to be this top one here. We already checked in here. It's going to be your red wire. That's your power. So we're going to splice into that, and then we'll move on to the turn signal, which we're going to do a similar setup just because we don't want to splice into the factory harness. So on your turn signal is going to be this green wire, at least from us. So we're going to splice into that wire, and then we should have power for the DRLs and our turn signals and the new headlight. So let's do it. Alright guys, check it out. So we have our driver side all nice and installed now. We put everything back together from this side. Unfortunately, our bulb is out on this side, but everything still works fine. So we got this all nice and bolted up. Look, that looks sick. So we are now working on this side, since this was going to give us the bigger problem because the connector on it was all messed up, as you can see there. So we figure out what cables need to go where. We're gonna use the connector that came with the kit right now, so we have a better fresh kind of connection in there, and that applies for any other headlights should we ever switch the headlights on it. So we're just gonna cut this out, splice into there, make sure everything's nice and watertight, and then we should be able to put this one right into place as well and have a nice fresh look with both headlights on. Alright guys, so check it out. We have our passenger side all nice and done. Now we have our new plug here. We have our signal wire here. We have a DRL wire here that is connected to the DRLs on this side. So everything is ready to be plugged in and put back together. We are going to put this headlight in here, plug everything back up, make sure everything's watertight and taped off if it needs to. And then we're going to finish up by putting the grill and everything back in place. After that, we're going to go ahead and make sure the lights are aligned. So we might have to wait a little bit till it gets a little darker, and we can show where the pattern is and everything and get it set up. And to have it set up, you're going to have the two wire screws. This is your vertical, so which way is going to go up or down, and then this is going to be your horizontal to go left or right. But we'll see how it looks after we put them all back in there, and then we can go ahead and show them off. So let's finish up and then we'll move on to aligning them. Alright guys, so we have our headlight all nice and installed. We have our grill and everything put back together how it should be. So now we're going to turn on the DRLs. So there we have the DRLs. As you can see, we have our light on this side that's supposed to turn on from the factory. Now we have our new DRL all nice and bright, which looks awesome. So now we can move on to the low beams. That's our low beam. Already you can tell this is going to be way brighter than the stock headlight. The stock headlight look almost exactly like this light over here, as you can see, very dim, everything. So now we're gonna turn on our high beams. High beams is on. This is gonna let us see the road, nice, everything. So now that we have our high beams, low beams, everything, let's turn back down to the low beams real quick. Now we're gonna turn our turn signal. Check that out. That is awesome. Turn signal on the bottom. Then we have our sequential turn signal up here too. That's awesome. We are pretty much good to go. As you can see, our other one is also on. If we turn that turn signal as well, everything is working perfect. Let me show you. This is the whole look. Put your high beams on. Yeah. So, good. Okay, check it out guys, this is already super bright compared to the old lights and we haven't even adjusted them. This is just the DRLs, so we already know this is gonna look good. So right now we're about, hopefully we calculate about 25 feet from the garage, so we can actually line them up where they need to be and we won't be blinding anyone that is you know, on the way or coming against us. So let's do it. Let's try to line them up. Alright guys, check it out. This is just with the low beams on, and this is already looking 10 times, 20 times, 100 times better than the old lights.
Now I can finally see where I'm going at night.
Now we can actually see the road. Let's turn the high beams on real quick. Look at that. Wow. And we're not, I don't feel like we're too far out. As you can see, the cutoff right about there. We might have to bring them down a little bit. They might be a little bit too high still, but it's not bad. So let's start adjusting them.
I feel like maybe they're a little bit out, that one.
Yeah, a little too far that way?
Yeah, that one's a little bit too far out.
Okay, we might need to just
maybe bring it in, maybe just a tad bit on that side.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you noticed, but it's like really far out. Well, they look good to you, cause
No, it does look a little too far to the right.
Okay. Do you think this one we can bring it in a little bit more too?
Yeah, probably.
The high beams on?
Alright guys, so we went and drove around the block just to make sure everything was looking good. we do feel like they are sticking out a little too far to the right, so we're gonna bring them in. As far as height goes, I think we're pretty much where we need to be. We had a couple cars come against traffic, and they did not turn their high beams at us. They didn't seem to be bothered by the light, so hopefully that's the case. We might try to just mess a little bit, just bring them up a little bit higher maybe, and go on for another test run. But these lights are amazing compared to what he had before, where literally half this driveway would not be lit up right now. If you have a hard body and you have the factory headlights, you know what we're talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have any video of that one, so we're gonna adjust them real quick, do another drive, and then go from there. But theirs looking pretty good and pretty close to done. So this is kind of how it feels to drive with the factory headlights. You really can't see that well. You can kind of see, but it's okay. All right, now let there be light. God damn. Was the high beams on?
No, that's just regular.
Ooh, okay. The camera took a little second. And now this is with the new headlights. Way, way, way better. For sure. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's all it takes to install some LED headlights into your Nissan Hardbody, especially if you buy this kit that we bought today. They're pretty plug and play. Hopefully you don't have to go through the same issue of kind of redoing one of your plugs. That'll make it even faster to get this installed on it. As you saw, the difference between this, the OEM headlights and this one's is basically day and night. Brian can tell you he's been driving with the old headlights. I mean, how do you like this one's compared?
They're a lot brighter. I'm really happy with the purchase that I made for a good price. You know, $80. I'm pretty sure you can't beat that. And they're really, really better than the OEM ones because I couldn't see anything out of them.
As you saw on the video, hopefully, I mean, they're super bright. We try to aim them as best as we could. So he's gonna drive around like that, and you know, hopefully, if you guys want to, leave a comment if you want to see maybe a review of it a couple months later. We can see how they held up, if they're still just as bright, if they're not giving any issues. So far, we are pretty happy with the results. Like we said, it looks awesome, just out of the box and everything. So we're pretty excited about it. So that's all we have for today, guys. If you guys want to keep seeing some great content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, like our videos, or leave a comment if you want to see anything specific. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.